everyone. Most of you probably already know about the story of Kris Tyson, either Kris Tyson or the drama about it, where I feel like even now, if you learned about when it first started, like 2, 3, 4 days ago, now with the more stuff coming out about it, you wouldn't even like understand just how bad it looks with like the amount of shit just piled on top. Because at first you had Lava, who was a victim of being groomed, who said that he wasn't, but didn't deny the fact that, it was very weird between him and Kris Tyson. And then you had, the former employee of Mr. Beast and Jake the Viking, already pretty bad. But now, there's even more worse stuff I can never imagine coming out, but still paints a pretty bad picture to the kind of stuff like that Kris Tyson was sending to her fans in the private discords. Let me go about this video in a very day-to-day manner, where I talk about each part coming out, how it kind of affects the story, and where it gradually, more and more, I get you the worst part, the Discord messages that was leaked, which by far is the worst part, I have to admit. First off, you had Jimmy, the actual Mr. Beast, who after agreeing with Kris Tyson that she would walk out, admitted that a lot of the stuff that he saw and came to his attention was stuff that he found very appalling and had no idea was actually going on back then in the past, which then led him to get an investigator to look up more stuff and see what the stuff has been kept secret. And I have to admit, throughout this entire drama, people have said that Jimmy knew what was going on but ignored it or was trying to protect Kris Tyson. And this part, the part of him saying he never knew what was going on, I feel a little bit weird. With someone that close to the actual brand, Mr. Beast, Kris Tyson, he would know a bit about the Discord servers. Especially when you see how some people there were editors for the early, older Mr. Beast videos. Oh, and the biggest part against that is that there's actual proof from the leaks that he was part of it and occasionally messaged in it. As well as playing into the role of just being weird with everyone else, who most of them were also minors. He probably wasn't as a big part of it as Kris Tyson, using it every single day and talking to everyone. But he was, he was aware of it, so he can't really use the defense that he never knew about it or most of the stuff he saw there was shocking when it came to light as of recently. The reason why I bring up these Discord leaks and why it even exists in the first place was of this guy on Twitter called Nathan, or just his handle, and Brain Freak, who was actually a part of it back when it was actually going on and spoke out about it. Well, he was friends with Lava, the original guy, but he talked about it in a way more negative way than him. Because while Lava was trying to defend it and make it seem like it was just mainly edgy jokes and it stopped there, whilst Nathan was saying that everything about the server was just downright wrong and just perverted as well. For Kris Tyson, who's in 20s, to be talking that kind of way, kind of creepy, to a bunch of other minors in the server.
I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Kris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for Mr. Beast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join Mr. Beast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Kris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me. Hey, what's up? You're on stream.
You just leaked your address. Please end your stream. As well as other technical back-end things that he needed help with. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there, other than me and Lava. He won a giveaway and Kris invited him after that, and Kris invited me after I saw one of his tweets asking for help setting up a Garry's Mod server for the 10 million subscriber Mr. Beast video. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Kris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds. Especially with him being 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in his Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors. And he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy, as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. You have to think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes.
And I agree. When you see most of the stuff that he shared to other people, it was weird. But when you think of the fact that it was also kids, it makes it just way more creepy and weirder. Because he knew as well that they were mainly kids, or just young teenagers. But from what I can discern, he was sending a shit ton of hentai and porn to everywhere, like every single channel, and didn't care that much that they were minors. Like, it wasn't that big of a factor to him. So with the stuff that Nathan was talking about and showing in his video, it does paint like a completely different picture from what Lava was describing. And after this stuff came out, Lava himself did admit that after reflecting on it, most of the stuff said between him and Kris was not right, and that Kris, being the older person, should have known to not do in the first place. And to me that's massive, because that's one person in the beginning of the drama defending Kris. Most people, were still against her because of the stuff they said on Twitter and on Discord, but he was trying to defend her image, because he knew what was going on, and honestly, at the time, didn't feel like it was that fucked up or weird. Now it's different, of course, because after reflecting on it, he didn't think it was right at all. In Nathan's video, because I'm rewatching it now again on my phone, there's a lot of bad stuff he brought up. For one, Kris kept on repeating the same gag of calling everyone there dad, and them, all the minors, repeating as well, repeatedly calling everyone dad, daddy. At first, I thought it was like a one-time thing between Kris and the kid on Snapchat she was talking to, also calling them daddy. But now seeing how often they bring it up as well in the the Discord chat makes it more bizarre. One last part I'll mention that I'll go back to later in the video was how Nathan brought up that before the server went public and was still private, there was a big effort called The Great Scrubbing, called by Nathan, where they went to every NSW channel in the Discord and got rid of all the bad stuff, the hentai, the porn images, the bad jokes, and as well as from what he said, Nathan, the N-words that Kris also said. And that is just pretty bad. Considering that most of the stuff we already saw that's public, like all the leaks, that was, all the edgy jokes, that was bad. But the fact that there was even worse stuff hidden beneath that got scrubbed away, it's nearly impossible to imagine what else was worse than what we already know. This is where the big part of the video comes in. When Nathan, after making the video, he made an effort to archive all of the messages, all 500,000, and make a countdown to when he would make it public, so everyone could see what was actually going on and what was said between Kris and a bunch of minors that he knew were kids. And a countdown of Discord leaks between a 21-year-old person sharing porn and hentai to a bunch of kids. That's insane. I say the drama was massive, so when his video came out, everyone was focusing on Nathan, so that was one of the reasons. But the fact that he had a release date and a time proves that, he knew some of the stuff going on was really bad. So that was sort of being get your helmets ready. I can't go through every single one, because like I said, it's 500,000, or even if I went for some of the key ones, that would still be 10,000. 10,000 really bad messages between a 20-year-old person and a bunch of minors. But I will read through some of the bad ones that people posted on Twitter, because even those ones, the few handful of examples, they're really bad. One of the first ones, you have the repeating motif of Shadman just being brought up over and over by Kris, who at the time was really obsessed with. And she even shared a link to his website, full of porn by the way, to a Discord server full of kids. And then there's proof of people, clearly kids, calling Kris lollygod. And that's, fucked up. I don't know where it started from, but the fact, if Kris, knew that was his nickname in the Discord chat, why wouldn't she tell people to stop calling her that when there are a bunch of kids calling her, yeah, lollygod? And then you have this section. It's not the best quality, but it shows someone talking to Kris being I feel like most of these channels should be, moderated or scrubbed a little bit clean, because it is full of kids and you have porn shared openly with everyone. And Kris does not seem to care that much, being what am I, parent? I can't do that. Even though I feel most people, sane in the brain, would be they would have that rule set in place in day one. There's other people there, like Nathan I believe, who are nah, don't even bother, people like it. Even though they are kids, bear in mind, so they're probably used to it, but they shouldn't be used to it when they're in the group chat with another adult. They should have the moral knowledge to know that this is not right. Then you have this screenshot. I don't know what's going on, but you have people calling Kris daddy over and over, and the caption is, did Kris Tyson pee on a phone? And all I can see is they have attachments, so they have a picture, so that might be what the picture was about. Thank God you can't see it. And then Just like every single gay Discord server in the world, they have a part where they roleplay, and it's cringy. Part of it is like, dipped in comedy, being like, ooh, that cringy ass meme. But Kris does not like hold back at all. Ooh, on Sip's dick. Yeah, why? I think it's really easy, a bit too easy, to use defense that, it's mainly edgy jokes. When I feel like most people, they wouldn't even dare to make these edgy jokes, cause you have to be pretty fucked mentally to think of it, and then share it openly with a bunch of kids. If these were jokes between kids or minors in the first place, that'd be bad already. But now that it's a grown-ass adult, like being part of it as well and conversing in it, contributing like 80% of these quote-unquote edgy jokes, that just makes it worse. Like, look, for example, there's one image that he posted for like a Twitter meme being like, the PlayStation 2 is 17 years old today, and the joke is, one more year and I can finally fuck my PS2, and Chris's play on the joke is, I like my PlayStation's around 13 years old, and a creepy ass picture, but face. And you see what I mean, right? A normal person at this point would be like, okay, it's not just edgy, it's creepy, and just clearly perverted. And then just the final nail in the coffin from Lava, again, I bring him up, where he said in this picture, I don't know what the context is, but it looks pretty bad to have him say, you have a massive penis, to Kris, when he himself was young, around 15 or 16, around the same age as Nathan. There must have been some prior jokes that led to this, because that's clearly the punchline. But people, like, that could have been like the one message everyone saw and decided to just cancel Kris just based on that. I mean, what's the best case scenario for Kris? That he sent a picture of someone else's dick to the server and everyone saw that it was hers. Even that's pretty bad, showing a picture of someone's dick to a bunch of minors. And bear in mind, these are just from the few of like the 500,000 that were archived and shared publicly. So you could say that these were cherry-picked to be the worst of the worst, but I feel like this was more of a sample test for what every conversation was like and how it was just fucked in the first place. So yeah, that's the most I could show about the messages. They're all really fucked. And if you want to see like, what was actually said, or most of the stuff that was said, you can find like most of the archives publicly on Nathan's Twitter. And if you don't waste your time reading through all messages, all 500,000, then go right ahead. Even though now, we have a pretty good image of like how much of a pervert she was, as well as this tweet from her sister saying like how before she admitted to her sister like how she would get off by secretly like taking her clothes and trying it on before in the past. I don't know when that happened, but when you have someone's sister also speaking out about the drama and what happened before in the past, that just makes the whole thing way more fucked.